guys, how are you? Welcome to this week's video. So today we have something that I think will be fun, which is a very large parcel that I got from the lovely team from Lightwish, which is the distributor for SuperVision. If you saw my video, it's been quite a while I think, of my last SuperVision, these watercolors that are granulating, and I tested it out here on the channel with you guys, and this time they reached out to me asking if I wanted to try their 48 artist watercolor set, which is, this is massive, and this is supposedly, from what I understood, most of them use single pigments, and they also sent me a sketchbook and some brushes. So we're going to be taking a look at these together. It's actually been quite a while since I've used watercolors, so it's going to be a very nice way for me to just get back to it. Before anything else, Lightwish is not paying me. All opinions will be my own, and I'm just excited to share this with you guys because this seems like a lot of fun. So we're first gonna go and just open the watercolors because I'm really curious to see how they are. And I bought a little palette for me to put these because my main goal is to then take these watercolors with me to my parents over during the holidays and mostly try them out there as well. So I'm not entirely sure how the whole process of me testing these will be because I plan to test these out kind of on a long term. Oh my gosh. Now that is pretty. They are all very thin tubes, but they look so nice. The color selection, from what I can see, is very much up my alley in the way that there's lots of purples and blues. There's quite a lot of greens, but there are a few that are more dry greens, which I do enjoy. Let me see if there's information on the tube. So this one is, for example, PY3, so one single pigment. I think that's like pigment yellow. So for example, this color, which is Persian blue, uses a PB27 only, so I assume it's a pigment 27. This one again, this is Blue Lake. This one uses PB15. I'm not, again, the most versed in pigments, but I am very curious to see how these look. Check the sketchbook. So this little guy, I do find quite interesting, has a little, like, the notebook that you take for school type of vibe, but this is a 300 GSM, 100% cotton paper, so it should be very good. I actually lent a few pages to a friend. She was here yesterday, and I have not even tried it, and she was complaining that she was not happy with the paper she had. I'm like, oh, I have this here, take it, and she really liked it. So, and she's very picky with her paper, so this is a good sign. Also has a little pocket here, so this, I don't know, it just feels like I will just be able to use this for other papers in the future, so very cool. And they also have refills of this paper, so you don't need to buy a sketchbook every single time. So I'm quite curious, and I'm going to try that out. And then we have brushes, which I very much appreciate. This is 10 watercolor brushes, finest synthetic squirrel. So it is squirrel, synthetic, but to make it seem like squirrel, it is... they're quite long. Yeah, they do seem quite long. I think I'm used to a shorter brush, but I don't mind at all. So they come with the little protection, and they do come with their points pre-set, so I just need to run these under some hot water to have released their sealant. Let me just remove them out of their prison. So they are individually protected, and some even have like a seal here, so they are very well protected. Even inside that little tube they have individual, which can be good, but still, it's still a lot of plastic, but I mean it makes it so they do arrive very nicely. Ooh, this one has a fun shape. I don't think I've used one of these before. It's like flat but round, so I don't think I have experienced this brush yet, so I'm curious about... Ow, I just poked myself with it. It's quite sharp. We have the tinier brushes, which will be most likely the ones I used. We have two flat brushes, which I don't use a lot in my work. Oh yeah, the flat brushes don't come with a protection. Makes sense. So maybe that's why they do come packaged. Like I was saying, so I don't use a lot of flat brushes in my day-to-day work when I make illustrations, but they are very helpful to lay down colors and make swatches. So I will try my best to use them, also because I do want to try them out, and I do want to try and get out of my comfort zone now, going back to watercolor after God knows how long. If I say it's been like over a year or even more when I done watercolor, I probably would not be lying. So let me just get rid of these. We have here our brushes. Again, they seem very, very nice. They seem heavy. They all say Lightwish on, where are you? They're here. They all say Lightwish on the handle in gold. And so we have an 8, 3, 0, 6, 10, 3/4. I think. I don't know how you read that. A 6, a 12, and a 3/8. I'm not entirely sure how you would read that, but yeah, so this is what we have. This is the watercolor palette that I got for this watercolor set. So this is a White Nights watercolor for 24 pans, but White Nights are notoriously quite large, so this actually fit perfectly 48 pans. So I will be able to have the whole set. The plan of attack for today is to organize, I mean, they already kinda are organized in color, and I don't think I have a particular way I wanna have these. The only thing I would probably do is not have the white next to the blacks. So I'd probably do white and then start with the yellows. So that's probably the only thing I would do in terms of rearranging. I really like this palette here. I got it on a Portuguese store, which is Provoca Art, and I really liked how this one was so low profile compared to my, for example, like even this 12 set is quite chunkier because it does have two mixing spaces. But this is my poor mistreated schminke set. I really do need to go back to it. One of my plans that I would really like to do is just go through all of my sets and just all my supplies and just check them out, try it out, see what I need to declutter, what I want to keep, what I want to not have, which is the same. I am quite excited to go back to traditional. I know I do a lot of traditional here on this channel. I mostly do inks and everything else, but in real life, so to speak, I am quite turned to digital, mostly because of work. I think I want to go back to traditional for a little bit and also get into the habit again of having a sketchbook. I bought this one recently. This is a Stillman and Burn beta, I think. It's this one. Yeah, the beta edition. And I had this sketchbook when I was in college and I really, really loved it. That is enough talking. I am going to just quickly set this up and then we're going to fill out this pen. so we have the pen all filled up. I only made a little mess out of myself. My hands are mostly messy because of the dyeing job I was just doing. These are the colors. Some differ in liquidity, I think that's the word, but some were more liquid than others, but I saw very little filler. Sometimes when you open tubed watercolors, a big blob of binder or filler would come out, but I saw very, very little of that, and the color selection looks extremely yummy. I'm curious to see these lighter shades, colors that they say they are half transparency. For example, this is shell pink. It says it's half transparent, but it looks so light. They will probably have white, these lighter colors, but I am quite curious to use them. The green situation is not offensive to me because I only do find two colors that I might not use that much, which is the Viridian Hue and the Sap Green. This is a permanent green yellow. I tend to really like those greens. Not sure about this one. This feels very, very green. My usually favorite green is a golden green. I'm going to let this set for just a little bit. I have some errands to run and maybe I'll do the little swatch card here. Most likely I'll try and make it out of this paper. It's almost the perfect fit to be it here inside. It'll just be a little bit shorter, so I'll probably be able to fit this grid here, and I'll try my best to make it as snazzy as possible with the whole information. See you next with hopefully the swatch sheet already done, or I'll show you a little bit. So yeah, I'll see you then. Okay, so it has been a little bit since I spoke with you guys about these little guys, these paints. So I believe it's been okay, so we're mid-January, so basically almost a month, or if not over a month actually. So this is actually nice to show you how the pans and the watercolor reacted while being in the pans. Some of them did cracked, so this little guy here and basically the front row cracked, and one or two really shrank. Like this guy here really shrank, and this one here, I think they also, oh, and this one also really shrank. And I have not touched this one as yet. But most of them are still pretty good. And even though they cracked, nothing fell from the pen. Something I did notice that does happen with some of the paints, I think, at least with the ones that I did use, is that it does have a little texture on the mixing palette. So it looks a bit like it separates in a bit of an odd way, here and here. But I did not find that it put me off from the paints. So this is, since this does not have a protection, I just found it easier to paste the color sheet onto the back of this. And this is how the colors are and they behave. So most of them are pretty transparent. I think the most opaque one is the white, which that is to be expected. Even the ones that I thought were going to be really very opaque, such as the shell pink, the lilac, and the turquoise pale, I think. Catch me not understanding my own handwriting. Those are still pretty translucent. I have used it a little bit here and there, and I'll show you in what I use them. I think for this video I'm making a little bit of a different format just because I wanted to try it out. So during the holidays I didn't really draw because my family is one that really hops around during the holidays, but I did manage to do a few drawings here or there. So this is the only spread that I made with the sketchbook that they provided. I really like the paper. I am not as accustomed to 100% cotton paper as I was before. I am a little bit out of practice, so it was a bit difficult for me at first. You can see a little bit of that texture over here. So it does happen a little bit, but I'm not entirely put off by that because, I mean, it's watercolor. I'm okay with texture happening here or there. I'm totally fine with it. And I think it's mostly, especially in the greens, that you see that happening a lot. So I don't know if it's something to do with a certain pigment used in the greens. In this one you can see that as well. But for example, in the blue here, nothing happened. And you can see this behaved beautifully in this blue. Purple, I tried doing a little bit of glazing. It worked very nice. And here as well, I think I tried lifting a little bit here and it lifted okay. So this is the only page that I did. I didn't do a lot, but I do want to try and have more fun with this sketchbook for sure. It's been a bit of a rough time. You think I've been gone from YouTube for a while, so I do wanna come back, but yeah, it's been a bit of a rough time. So this is then the sketchbook that I think I showed. And so yes, this is just another page, but yeah. So this is another spread that I did. So this page here was the main event, so to speak, that I did with these paints. Was the most, I think, I spent using them at times. So while I'm going to be talking, I am going to be showing you the time lapse of this drawing here, so you can see a little bit of the process. I was very lost when doing this. It's been so long since I've used watercolor, and even though it is quite similar to ink, it did catch me a little bit off guard. So I don't think this is not for sure my best work when it comes to watercolor, but having in account that I have not touched the medium in, I think, over a year, could be worse. It was fun, it was quite relaxing. The paints were very easy to control, so basically I did a very light wash and I just kept piling and piling and piling, and at some point I actually even decided to change the skin tone of her. I just thought it made more sense for her to have a darker skin tone when it was a sunsetty, very sunny type of deal. So, and it also just went better. So I did that and it also went fine. They created some very nice and pretty textures. And I don't know, it was a fun watercolor. They do feel, I can feel them slightly in the paper, but nothing that's over the top. It's completely fine. So here you can also see in a few swatches, few textures, but again, I am completely fine with this. I actually enjoy it a lot. It gives more character to the watercolors, in my opinion. Then here on the side, I did a little peony on a plaque. If you are a very old subscriber, you might recognize this design. I was just checking my older videos and I don't know, I felt nostalgic, and I actually am thinking of redoing a few of my older designs just for fun, like this and my older tarot cards that I did based on a prompt. If you were a subscriber around 5 years ago, you'll know. So that's something I kind of thinking of doing, and I probably do it in watercolor and gouache just because I do want to come back to these types of mediums and practice more. My overall opinion of these paints was that they were very nice, especially coming to watercolor after so long. These were fun. I do like the range of colors. Even though I did not use them all, I will try my best to keep using them more because, again, one of my goals is to really go back to watercolors and go back to doing just sketching. It's been so long since I did this, and it's something that I do need, and I will try my best to carry on with it. I will leave the links to all the supplies in the pinned comment and also in the description, so you guys can check it out. This was a very fun review for me. It was such a long time since I've done anything like this, and I really did miss watercolor and the whole just turning off my brain and just drawing. It was so fun. And I do have a few things to share with you guys. It's just mostly time to see if I am able to do it. Before I go, I want to say thank you to everyone that's stuck around since I don't post as much, and all the sweet comments asking me if I am okay and how I've been doing. I will reply them. Hopefully by the time this is posted, I have replied to them. But yeah, I've not been the best and I am working on it. So that's the most that I can kind of say. I am currently working on it slowly and very slowly, but I am trying my best. This is my review for the 48 SuperVision watercolor set. It was lovely, and honestly, I don't really have anything bad to say about it except for maybe the texture, but again, for me that is not an issue. I really don't mind at all, especially since these are very much me going back to watercolor. But do let me know your opinions in the comments. I would like someday to do a light fastness test. However, I don't get a lot of sun in my house, so I don't know if it would be a very accurate test or not, because again, I don't get a lot of sun, so the paint would not be put to a very intense test. So maybe I can try doing it one day just to see. Oh, I forgot. I also forgot quickly to mention the brushes. They were a delight as well. They worked super well. They are very comfortable to hold. I do enjoy the longer handle, and no hair fell off during the process. They were very comfortable. They all worked super well, and none of them seem to have gotten very worn out with these amounts of paint. But again, they were not a lot of drawings, but I would not expect them to be already worn out. But they were super fun, and I also really enjoyed them, and I was forgetting to talk about them. Thank you so much, Lightwish, for providing these goodies for me to try out. I had a blast. Thank you so much to anyone that's still watching and that stuck around with me. Thank you. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think of these paints. Would you like to use them? What did you see that would make you buy them, or what did you see that would make them not use them? I'm super curious. Oh, and also I forgot to say, we reached 4K here, and I want to say thank you so much as well. It's been crazy times. Thank you so much, guys. I love you, and you are just the best, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.